Okay, then I'm gonna call us to order. Kate, can you see everyone in the room, or do you want us to just say our names real quick?
Can y'all say names real quick?
Okay, Ben Eckler is here.
Okay.
Tracy Downing is here.
Okay.
Doug Melford. And me in.
Karen Alexander.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at the new. Okay, so we took roll. First order of business is the approval of the May 2025 minutes. I know that's been a little while ago. Any questions before we make a motion? All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? All right, minutes passed. And then Kate, Mike is in the room now, if you want to add him to the attendee list.
Thank you.
All right, I don't see any visitors, no one on attendees, so we should be good with visitor comments. Old business, none. Double checking that before we go on, no old business. Okay, then on to new business.
I had something I'd like to throw on there quick if everybody went mind. This evening, we had our first public input session / open house for Ivy Crockett Park Master Plan. We have different phases throughout the upcoming years. First phase is what we went to get public input for tonight, is adding a splash pad and new prefabricated restrooms, either development at Ivy Crockett. Behind you, we have boards, and I wanted to see if we could just take a brief moment. I could walk through those. I have green dots. If you just go through and there's three different options to have the splash pad, and the restrooms obviously will be going in place of where the current restrooms are due to plumbing and things like that. So the other splash pad, there's different. This is phase one would be directly behind the restrooms. Phase two, there's an area here by the pavilion, just different options for the splash pad. And then phase
We said restrooms.
Sorry.
Where is that?
right here.
Oh, okay,
This is the original playground.
okay,
So we would take that out and put the splash pad there.
okay.
One big benefit of placing the splash pad there, these prefabricated restrooms, they have additional storage for all the pumps, electrical, piping, all that stuff, and it's directly behind it, which would minimize our costs greatly versus putting it further away. There's electric already there. So that's a benefit. And even right here, the distance going from your pump room is minimal versus having it further away. And because you have to build an existing structure to house all of the pumps. So I didn't know if you guys could take the time to go through and put, this is the most preferred option tonight from people that showed up to the open house. And we can even do that at the end of the meeting if you'd like.
Can you talk about
Yeah.
it looks like you're cutting the playground in half there, but you're still getting the cost benefit of keeping it close to restaurants. Is that okay?
Correct. Correct. And then on this one, I can hold this up. These are just kind of different options that Planning Design Studio put forth with us. These are the options for just some examples of the different styles that we could potentially put into that spot. Splash pad for the restrooms, splash pad, different options are listed over here. These four, just different play features, different design, just kind of like your basic design here with bolt. This one is a basic design with like boulder seating around the splash pad. And then down below here are shade structures. A lot of these, it's important to point out, these are like a very thick plastic versus a cloth type material, which over time hold up, they don't cut, you don't have to take them down during the winter, put them back up, which causes wear and tear on them. And they don't fade as bad as the fabric does.
Are these able to be put up like so right here? It looks like
Yes.
the paper, but you could put these up anywhere.
And another benefit of like, if you're driving by Ivy Crockett Park and the splash pad is behind the restrooms, it's not gonna be very visible, but having some shade structures there kind of draw more attention to it. So
Are all the shade structures, plastic or is that
Yes.
third one? Okay, that third
this
is
also,
it kind of looks like
sorry.
it might be fenced.
sorry, this one is a fabric.
Okay, okay.
All the other ones are different. Sort of like-
Is there any research or data on, like, I'm wondering if any kids have sensory issues in terms of the actual projection of the water? Is there anything we know about what's better received by?
None that I know of. There are a lot of splash pads around the United States that
Yeah.
have people with enjoy going to them because it's
Yeah.
interactive and sensory development. Like
Yeah.
different play features with the splash pad that people install for
For that reason?
yeah, for that exact reason. So that is something that we could look into based on public input.
I just didn't know if when you guys were putting this together, you know, the people who market them say this one is particularly good for
Not that I'm
kids with sensory issues. Okay.
specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to go through, we can put you, we got, I'll just lay these on the table, we can do the green dots, we can do that. We can do that after the meeting if you'd like. We just like to get everybody's as much input as we possible.
What, can I ask your personal feeling about the size of the playground?
Mhm.
The replace the playground, because it does look like it gets smaller, just if that splash pad under this scenario. How is it relative to the current playground? Like, is the larger rectangle the size of it now?
That spot is pretty interesting. The larger rectangle is kind of adjacent from the restrooms. There's a lot of open space there. There's the
Okay.
swing sets and different play structures. There's a lot of
Lot
open
of
space, so it could be condensed and actually have more of a play structure and just less open space, which is,
Play structure where, because I walked this way
yeah,
multiple times already, so, I mean, a week. So I'm looking at, this is where the bathroom is now,
correct.
right? And so this is putting the splash pad behind
Mhm.
the bathroom.
That's an option.
And, oh, this is one of the options.
So that one, the splash pad would go up by the pavilion.
This is the
Yes.
splash pad. Okay, the purple would be the splash pad.
This one here is the one tonight that most people voted on. They wouldn't do anything with the splash pad here. Restrooms are here. Yeah, parking is here. Basketball courts. Splash pad, there's a small playground right here. We would remove that playground as place,
That's the splash pad.
do the splash pad here with this phase. This is an original playground and it is very old and will need to be replaced. So that is a benefit. Leave everything as is here, where there's play structures. This is a brand new playground over here as well.
Okay.
And the benefit of here is, like I was mentioning, electric, you have plumbing, you have your pump storage that we could put in to prefab restrooms. It's along the walking trail. I mentioned tonight, I have two small kids. We go to the playground all the time. Your parents could stay right here. One kid could be playing over here, one kid could be on the splash pad, restrooms right there. You have any kind of need right there. Putting the splash pad here, up here by the pavilion, I do feel like it takes away, because that's like, we have our Juneteenth celebration.
Mhm.
And that's a great spot for bands to set up, shaded space, there's shaded areas. We won't have to take out any trees or move anything like that, no disruption to nature or anything like that. And we do like, birthday party rentals, family reunions. A lot of kids like to run around and play here. We have a splash pad, you're gonna have other kids there.
What's the difference in square footage on the splash pads, especially between that option and that one?
We're recommending doing like a 50 feet,
No matter what, okay.
which is typical. I mean, you can always, some cities put in massive ones that are, $2 million, but I think for this size of park, a 50 by 50 would be that.
It's a little deceptive because like that playground is a quarter the size of a soccer field, which is huge.
Yeah.
And the splash pad looks, I mean, when you look at it relative to the soccer field, which is huge, that's still pretty sizable.
Yeah, it wouldn't be this big, obviously. This
Yeah.
one's kind of blown up for.
Yeah.
It would not be that big.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
More than likely it'd be about 50 by 50. But as like this is, and I always tell people like this is kind of like the first step. This is our first public input. We'll have another one in November where we will take it's not gonna, top, if this is the top design, then we'll dive in a little further to this versus you have a splash pad, everybody voted, let's say they want this one, then we'll focus in on this and then offer different features and dive a little bit more into the specifics of the splash pad, into the specifics of the restroom and the shade structures. And then get more detailed with that. And then the next one would be a final thing.
Does moving the splash pad over by the pavilion with what we'd have to do with piping and stuff increase cost enough that any of the future part of the project would be jeopardized?
Possibly.
Okay, I mean, that's huge.
It really is. So here you have to run electric from street view and you'd have to dig under all of this to get it, piping and
Yeah.
everything like that. You'd also have to build another structure for all your pumps. Because we would do recirculating pumps on these to recirculate the water and keep it safe with storms. So
I think that the pavilion area is also more of an adult area, maybe where a lot of adults like to hang out, and so to have it in different areas is a good thing.
and these grills are used heavily here and you can have a spot that it just, it doesn't, that's a good one. So yeah, if you guys want to walk around, we can do that after the meeting and place
The
your.
only other thing
Like
is
your green
not there yet, but I would say we had some issues with some pumps and some you know, very obscure pump systems that we had in the previous park and we had all sorts of troubles with. So hopefully we pick something that's very standard and
Is the Southwest.
American and not a big German.
Yes.
German pump.
Yeah. The high-tech restrooms
Noted,
that
yeah.
never work.
Noted.
Cool.
That's all I have.
Should we place our green dots now or at the end?
I mean, if you want, you can do it at the end, that's fine. We get through the agenda and
Okay.
we could log off for that, I think.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, next up, Gordon family renaming ceremony.
Yeah, so this is the granddaughter of Benny Gordon. Couldn't make it. So I kind of go over kind of briefly. They're wanting to do a ceremony for like the renaming, like a celebratory thing, which would be great. Like we're all for that. And I guess maybe we'll try to invite her to the next one to talk more in depth about it. Whether that's here in the rec center, doing like a family day, bounce houses, balloon animals, things along that line, inviting the public, media, things along that. Or if we do it at the water park, I would recommend, and obviously we'll get their opinion on it, obviously for sure, and their input. Do something along the lines like if we open the Friday before Memorial Day, which I can't believe I'm talking about that, like we just spoke, but it's right around the corner. But you know, if we open the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, maybe on Thursday night, we do a soft opening, and then host it then and kind of do the same thing. It'd be kind of neat, but that's water park. So that'd be an option that I'd throw out, but I'm definitely all for it. And I think it'd be a great thing to do like on a weeknight or something along those lines and, celebrate the renaming. So, yeah.
Would there be any like history presentation or slideshow or something
Yeah, possibly.
speaking about why we chose that?
Definitely.
Okay.
I think that'd be a great idea. I have some signs in my office I'm gonna be posting, like here at the rec center. I need to get frames and stuff for them. We're currently painting our lobby and kind of sprucing some things up. So I'm gonna be posting those with kind of the history of Benny Gordon and his family. So it's really cool to read about it and we'll have some at the water park next year for next pool season.
So the granddaughter is basically your liaison? Okay, because I know first it was a whole list of stuff that was just like, we can't do all of that.
There were a lot, yeah, there
You know,
were a lot, and we definitely want to do something and maybe just kind of make it a big event and have a lot of fun, but yeah, kind of do it on a weeknight or something like that, so it's not so impactful on staff, but so that's why I really do like the idea of doing a soft opening
Yeah.
prior to opening the water park, and I think that'd be kind of beneficial for both. And we could market it, throughout the spring leading into the summer. So,
Great.
kind of more confident.
Any other questions there? All right, and I actually skipped over water park attendance if we want to go back to that one.
Oh, yes. So I can kind of I'll go over that and then in my updates, I'll kind of go over a couple of other things. Try not to tie it all in. Overall, the summer went very well. June was, extremely busy. I was telling everybody, we're the coolest thing in town and everybody wanted to come check us out. And based on the numbers I'm about to share, it was staggering. Kind of went back to normal operating procedures in July, still up a lot from previous years. But more just kind of, we noticed a big drop off. People are traveling and sometimes too, it gets too hot to go pool.
I was gonna say the
And-
weather was so bad.
And it's kind of a scene, you see that at pools, it gets too hot and then people don't want to be out laying in the sun. And then if it's too cold, so when it's at like 85, 95 degrees, it's like perfect. We had some hot days. So just like some quick numbers. And just kind of bragging on staff here on a couple of these. Our water park, I'll start with the attendance. In 2024, we had a total of, let's see, right at like 40,000,
Unique or total?
40,000 total daily check-ins. That's resident, non-resident. 2025, we had right at 68,000. So we increased around 30,000, 75% increase. That's just our dailies, not memberships. So we're still compacting all of that and doing a very detailed analysis that I'll present to council. Water park day fees and just our day fees. 2024, we brought in $166,928. 2025, brought in $409,505. With that, our non-residents, of that 409,000 was roughly around 320,000 were their non-residents that came into the water park in 2025. That's a big chunk.
That's who was up there.
Do I?
That's who all those people.
Right. And bragging on staff here, we had water park rentals. 2024, we had $6,582 sold in our water park rentals. It's, any late rentals this year were right at $20,000. So that was a big increase. And just to note too, in 2024, we closed early. I believe we closed about a month early to start construction projects. So that's, those numbers are, but still the 75% increase is going to be in that long month's time. So I'm very pleased to see those numbers. Let's see. And then kind of another fun thing, concessions. We did a lot of work in our concession stand. We had all new equipment, new menu, state-of-the-art stuff. In 2024, we did a little over $92,000 in sales, which is astonishing. That I think our most expensive thing is like a $6 slice of pizza. So that's a lot of items. That was $92,000. In 2025, we did right at $185,000. And a fun fact, we purchased a ice cream machine for $30,552. And we paid for it this summer by selling $3 ice
First year.
cream. We sold $3,867 worth of ice cream. That's astonishing. So,
I know my brother got one of my ice cream.
it's delicious. It's delicious.
I have a few of those.
Yeah, they are good. They are good. So that's kind of a fun fact, but those are just kind of like a high view of our numbers. And then, anytime you have close to 70,000 people come into a place in 2.5 months, you're going to have some negative feedback, but truly overall, it was positive feedback. I had somebody tell me tonight that we had a youth summit at City Hall, and it was the teens were talking about how awesome the slides were and everything, and how much fun like all the new features were. So it's really neat to hear the positive feedback, and also to hear the negative feedback, because I always tell people that's how we improve. Like, I want to hear that. hopefully not every day, because then that's a problem, but I enjoy hearing some negative feedback about things, because that's how we improve, and it might be something that we might have a blind eye to, and that's why we serve our residents to figure those things out and then do improve on, or explain why we're doing it that way, so.
I can add a question on that for the whole commission, because I think everybody expected the attendance to just be out of the world for the first year, so I don't think that surprised anybody,
Yeah.
but I know personally there was a lot of times like, I'd like to go to the pool, but I can't deal with how crowded it is right now. And didn't know if there were any thoughts on for next year, if there was going to be anything done to maybe put a cap on attendance at some point, even if lifeguards can support X. Maybe X isn't the perfect number to have a good experience, or even something like creative, like 3 hours some random night, or on a Sunday residents only or something. So the taxpayer may have
Sure.
a little bit of a better, less crowded experience.
It's something definitely that we've brought up to talk about potentially rent day only. That's not a bad idea. It is difficult. We were around 1,000, our busiest day. We could have still taken 1,000 people, but we're like 800 to 1,000 people. So we never probably ever reached capacity. And it's one of those things, monitoring in and outs is extremely difficult to do. We'd have to hire 2 more staff people just to sit there and have a clicker clicking people as they come in and out. So I think in my opinion, what I would recommend, the only way would be to do like certain days or certain hours of residents only and get that marketed. And the other side of that is too, like council years ago brought in open the pool to non-residents just to be welcoming to all, and it is busy, but like I said, we're the coolest thing in town. There's already a lot of other cities around that have already planned building their water parks. We're the leader on that, and then everybody kind of follows suit. So I'm proud of that. So I'm going to be curious to see how next year goes, to see if we're as busy as we were for that first month of June, because it was. I'm not sick.
Was there any projection on what the numbers would be this year?
Not that I'm aware.
Set the
That-
capacity.
So I was gonna say, that's something too, moving forward with like revenue projections.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky, because the first couple of years are gonna be busier until we see kind of a plateau, but I don't know.
Well,
when
I
that will
wonder,
be. So
if
it's
we
gonna
look
be-
at all the numbers in totality and say, hey, maybe we could bring down the yearly pass for residents, because we expect to get revenue from daily people, non-residents. And if we lower that price, maybe we end up selling more, even though we don't know if they're using it or not. I mean, the other
Yeah.
second part of that is how much are those people that buy the pass for the year, how much are they using it?
I did my own study on that this year.
Yeah,
Bought a pass, and as much as I came up here with my kids. Now granted, I have a pass, but I bought my kids passes, and it was based on the $100 per the first 2 people or something. It's like 16 visits at $6 a resident to break even. That's a lot of visits.
Yeah.
I thought buying it, okay, that means we gotta come semi-frequently. You gotta come really frequently to come 16 times. You really gotta come twice a week. If you're a lap swimmer, it makes sense. If you're doing other things like that, if you have a regular reason to be here, but if you're just gonna bring your kids, I mean, that's probably my experience this year. That's probably a price point I don't go back to. I start buying, day passes.
yeah. I
Because
just
it's
think we should look at it to maximize the dollars.
and I think you'd probably drive more sales.
Right.
Because, like I said, that's
If you make a
16.
You make
Yeah.
fewer.
If I break even at 10 visits or something,
Yeah.
or something else,
Mhm.
maybe I rethink it. But like I said, I did that math
We make
myself
such
this
a
year,
great deal, a
and
lot.
16 is a lot. That's a lot of visits to
And
bring
they
a
may
family.
never use it.
And that is a good point. And on the flip side of it too, we have a lot of families that come every single day,
Sure.
like every single day. So it is kind of like, cause I talking to my wife about the same thing. I'm like, how are we really gonna,
Yeah.
but, yes, that's a good point. And it is, you gotta evaluate that. But I think everybody heard the opening day we had a bunch of kids come at like 7:30 a.m.
Camp out.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, so,
We did also find out that it does slow down in the afternoon, so we were taking more advantage of that. If you like it a little less crowded, which our family has done for years, so our pool time is typically that 4 o'clock when people start heading back, 5 o'clock, heading back to dinner, then we show up at the pool and we close it down. And it's, if you're looking for a little more elderly at the pool, that's certainly the time to go.
or right when we opened, I found wasn't very busy. Usually 1 to 3, 1 to 4-ish was a really busy.
It was the busy time.
Yeah.
I also,
Sorry.
can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I was speaking with a friend this summer and she takes her kids to the pool every day and her kids are of a certain age and they want their friends to come. And it gets expensive. And she was wondering, she wanted to float the idea of members being able to buy like a companion pass so that they can bring their kids' friends every day. Like just one friend, one pass, one friend per day per entrance, just as something we might consider.
Sure.
Like a Six Flags, bring your friend for free type thing.
Yeah. Or I mean, not for free, but it would
Right.
it would be like buying another membership, but it could be used by any friend.
Just trying to think about
Yeah. Yeah, I know, put it on.
sure how that would work.
I mean, you were paying for the friends anyway, right? With a day pass?
Yes,
So
but
it'd be the non-resident rate. And so if you beat that by just a little bit, you might actually make out better
Yeah,
for somebody buying a pass.
there's something to look into, different.
Or it's another one of those things where you're enticing people to buy stuff they may never use, but they just buy it anyway, thinking they're gonna use it. So. Just all.
Just
things
put a
to
big
consider.
thank you for supporting Webster Groves by
Right.
whatever the sign is. My question was, who sets capacity? Who set it? I mean, what you said, we've never met capacity, but
Like our-
some of the criticism was
Yeah.
it's so crowded, but we weren't even at capacity. So is that something that we would ever rethink or
That's
recalculate?
set by, and that's a really good question, and I don't want to make up any answer, obviously, but it's not set by us, it's.
I
set
thought it might be
by-
the builders or the.
Something.
It is St. Louis County,
Okay,
that sets that. We can't alter from that whatsoever at all.
okay,
So, and I don't know, I can find out all the details of how that is figured.
Okay.
But also, I do not know the answer to that, but
that would be
Uh,
good news to get out there because
Yeah.
some of the criticism was it's so crowded.
yeah,
Lifeguards can't see your kid if the kid goes under or whatever,
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that would be a good way to kind of clap back and say,
Sure. And
We weren't even
we also started doing, I don't know if, hopefully everybody follows us on Facebook. We started doing like some educational pieces, just like,
Mm.
hey, the lifeguards are not there to babysit your children.
Right.
And that's all around. They're there to watch the water.
Yeah.
Like, they're not there to babysit.
make sure your kid
So-
isn't.
And yeah, and so just to stress the importance of, it's not, you as a parent, you don't sunbathe like your kid run around the water park by themselves, so that's not safe, and we have rules too against that, but so we're gonna do, we started doing that, we're gonna hit that going into the next season as well. Yeah, and I'm sure some people might have heard like, concession stand, people waiting in line, and I monitored that like a hawk. And what I looked at was not so much how many people were in line, because it's busy, so there's gonna be a line, is how many people are waiting to get their food, and there was hardly none. So, that's what I was looking at to see if staff was doing their job and making a quick turnover, and they were. Another thing I like to bring up too, because we did get hit on this, is a lot of the kids, the majority are people that were in line for children. And what do they do when they walk the door or something? What would you like? I know what I want before I even get in line, because I'm hungry all the time. Yes, they stand there. Or they dump a bunch of
Ice
change
cream.
and be like, what can I get with this? So that takes longer. So it's one of those things, like when we're busy, but as we open, and I've said this a million times, where it was a new facility. We had to redo some things and we're gonna have meetings throughout the fall and winter with staff to go over each specific area, what went well, what could we do better. So we're gonna be doing that during the off season and roll out even better than what we did. But even specifically with the concession stand line, we kind of made some corrals with some chains throughout the middle of the season and just kind of help guide people where to go. And so it was a work in progress, but overall, I think everything went super well.
So for next steps, I know in the past Scott has like put together a fee schedule and then we kind of sign off and then he goes, are we gonna do that again? Or maybe we could take some of the recommendations to adjust.
Yeah, I would think for next summer, that's something I could bring up. I don't know if we'll increase fees for next summer because we just went through that round. So I don't think we would be increasing any fees. As far as different like a membership thing, I could bring that up.
And the other thing
Right.
would be, the hours and the length of the season, that
Mhm.
last week when we cut back because
Yeah.
it's more expensive with the pool company. Revisiting that to see how much more is it to be open that last week when the kids aren't back in school yet.
Yeah. A lot of that is not so much, I mean, it's more expensive just because we're
management.
opening more. It's not, their fees don't go up.
No,
the
the
main
pool
reason-
management company that we hire, it costs more for the city for that last
To
week,
extend it.
as I understand it from previous years. So we just should relook at that and see what the cost is and if we want to just pay for it so that the kids can have one more week of swimming.
One of the main reasons with that is staff. Because everybody goes back to school. Is
Right.
that what you're,
Right,
Like-
the
like when we
pool
go-
management company will staff it, but it's over and above their normal contract.
right? No,
So we just have to look and see how much that is and if it's worth the expense for the city.
right.
Just something to consider that we should keep considering
Sure.
every year, just like the costs.
Yeah, and next year, and that's something that I've already had meetings with NPM and we'll actually be putting out RFP because their contract's up in the next month. Next year, school starts later, so that's gonna impact, we'll be open for at least another week and a half than what we were this year. So with like, that is something too that we've also brought up going to amended hours. The main thing is the staff, like that they don't have staff because all their kids go back to school. And it's not even so much school starting, it's band practice, athletics, they start all the practices and they just don't have the staff. A lot of surrounding cities that stayed open that last week at normal hours, half the pools weren't even open because of the shortage of staff. So they just had to select bodies that were open. Our pool is really hard to do that here because we're just one massive thing, so we couldn't do that. We'd have to have a lifeguard station at each body of water. But that is something that I am looking into because it is, next year will be different because the school's starting later, so we'll have to do something different, but I can report back on that because we'll be going out to RFP and hopefully award that sooner rather than later because people are already planning for it for that summer.
It would be good to know the details on the Midwest Pool Management Company and what they are providing us, the costs.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then the resident only hours or day, is that already being discussed or is that something we should talk as?
I can bring it up. We did talk about it throughout the summer and then as we were monitoring numbers, we didn't think it was a necessary thing because there wasn't really any need for it as far as attendance wise and bather load.
What percentage of like the pool attendees on any given day are non-residents? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. I mean,
Okay, I mean,
can
like
get-
roughly, is it like a third or, I mean, are half the people,
I would think.
it's higher than that?
If I had to guess,
Okay,
I'd have to look at the data and figure it out,
Okay.
but might be, let be the,
Well, 309K out of 409,
Now they pay more.
3/4.
I mean, I can look at all of that too, but
And then I guess you have to add past people in. So it could be close to half.
yeah, it's what I'm working on, it is gonna take some time because that's just a quick in our software system that says non-resident, resident. There's also the Glendale memberships that we have that are non-resident, so there's probably 13 or 14 different fee structures that I have to go in and and dissect, and
Gotcha.
that's a lot of different things than just non-resident versus resident.
I keep thinking back to just the not being close to the bather load when I know when I was there a few times, it's like, okay, I've got maybe 2 feet on each side of me and that's about it.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, but if you go to Raging Rivers or any other water park in the St. Louis area, you are elbow to elbow
yeah,
days, and it's, you know, it's just the nature of the water parks, I think. And the fact that the capacity is higher than that, I mean,
that's what's.
so that's crazy.
Yes.
But so, you know, limiting people from coming, I like the numbers where they are as far as the revenue generated by the new pool. So I'd hate to start telling non-residents, sorry, you know, you come back in 2 hours. Right now, it's all the residents.
Especially since it's probably going to kind of work itself out a little because it's new.
Yeah.
You know, and so I would be surprised if we had the exact same numbers next year. And then the
Yeah.
following year,
I
I
think
think it's
everybody's
probably gonna.
everybody's agreeing on that. It would be interesting to see how much we spent and how much we,
Get back.
you know,
decided to put all that together.
it could be
How many years?
a conversation for people like Doug and I that want the indoor pool.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah. Cause I know we were really gonna.
I will say, when you look at the cost now, that in general, it's not a money maker. Like, it's not like
Right.
indoor pool.
We'd like to see
always
some
money.
numbers though.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even out, it's rare that you make a profit. It's more of a service. No matter, because it's easy to say like, I'm running 400,000, but
That's a good
like
point too.
NPM's contract is $326,550. That's just right there. So there's not, and that will increase next year for sure. So,
I just
That's
know
what
now
I feel like.
yes.
at Webster University, outside of school hours, there is not a single hour where there is not a club team taking up that pool. So I feel like whether it breaks even, there's definitely a need there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what you have to look at versus service versus, yeah.
And if it's a service anyway, then what's the price that we are okay
We
with?
need to play, yeah.
All good topics.
All right, next, usually we do next meeting date at the end, but I guess we can do that now. Next,
I just threw that on there when I was doing that, just because the fourth week would be the day before Thanksgiving.
Mm.
okay.
So I just,
Probably won't have
Not a
to
good sign.
that's what I kind of figured. So
Yeah.
like, if you just want to move it to the week prior, which would be November 19th.
Yeah.
I didn't want to assume that everybody was fine with that, obviously, so I just thought I would put that on there as a discussion topic. We have our Turkey Day run bright and early that day, so or the next Thanksgiving morning, so.
Oh, I thought you were saying the 19th. I'm like, wait, what?
No,
Yeah, no, okay.
which we already have close to 1,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, I know I can't make the 19th that week, but if everybody else can, I can just call in via Zoom.
I mean, we can, it's up to you all, you know.
I'm available.
And I'll send out an email like, you know, that Friday, like I do, to see if we can meet a quorum. But that's up to you all for sure.
Want to go ahead and make a motion for that week, the 18th, November 18th, 19th?
19th.
November 19th, I'll make a motion. I'll set up next night, second next meeting, November 19th.
All in favor?
Hi.
All opposed? Okay, and I'm gonna abstain since I can't make it. All right, liaison reports, Councilperson Alexander.
We have a couple of things. One, we had a review of the comprehensive plan and there was an opportunity for us to make comments on the plan, and so there were a lot of comments made. They came back and presented it and said it was really kind of shocked because of all the different, municipalities they've worked with. They never had as many people read it and comment on as much of the plan as they received back from us, not just from council members, but different commissions, committee members and what have you. So anyway, they're going back and they're making those updates or changes, or, I mean, there were some places where there may have been errors or there may have been, we needed clarification or things like that. So they're making those updates and they'll bring them back to us, for review. And so we will probably be looking at voting adopting that within the next couple of meetings. One of the other things that I don't want to miss. So we had a presentation of the traffic advisory committee on, what they wanted to do to address the traffic, the parking concerns around the area. Apparently, a lot of the complaints and challenges that we were having has been reduced because the high school added like another 70 parking spots, so that really kind of helped alleviate a lot of the issues that were around, immediately around the schools and those neighborhoods and streets that are highly impacted by that. There were several recommendations given, like, limit the amount of parking permits that can be offered and just a lot of changes. But at the end of the day, what was adopted was to pretty much keep the process the way it is. If people are wanting to request parking permits in front on their streets, and a lot of those things are based upon the width of the street, what can be asked for, what cannot be requested, and to just pretty much keep that in place. And so that, you submit your request, it's reviewed by traffic commissions, as well as council and what have you, and then those are approved that way. I mean, one of the things was just to rescind every guideline that's in place right now and just start all over. And they were like, well, no, it doesn't make sense to do that. That's too much work. It's too much. And then there was another one that, just go back to the beginning, and then everybody has to decide all over again what streets are allowed for permanent parking and what have you. And again, with the whole process starting from the beginning, it was going to be too much in terms of what is required from an employee perspective, just the work that the city, would have to do something like that. So pretty much, because again, with this, what the school has done to help alleviate a lot of those complaints, because at the end of the day, a lot of the complaints were driven by the school. I mean, there's just far more kids that drive to school, today than there was when I was going, and so, but they have again increased the number of parking spaces that they have, as well as Webster, the college has too. So anyway, that's, so basically, it was to keep the process basically the way that it is, and, requests are reviewed as they are received. And, so that's where we were with that. And then there's two things that we're looking at, considering some tweaks or revisions on the code. One that was put forward had to do with front entry garages, and the other had to do with electric vehicle code changes. And so on the front entry garages, the request there, which I actually put forward because the code that we have in place now says that you have to have 40% of the homes on your block have to have a front entry garage in order for you to have a front entry garage. And so my request was that, can we revisit that? Because all of these neighborhoods around here are not a model. There's different neighborhoods, there's different, looking for different design options that may be more cost effective for people. And then one of the other things is, like, for example, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of those homes were built as a result of the land clearance program that was occurred between 60 and 63. And a lot of those are ranch homes with carports, but carports weren't considered. So it's like you can have carports on the street, but you can't have front entry garages. And so it's like we need to kind of revisit that, because we have a lot of that was really looking at the historical neighborhoods or the older neighborhoods, and it didn't take into consideration the fact that we have neighborhoods around the city, South Webster, North Webster, East, that have a lot of front entry garages. And there is a cost associated with having to put a garage on the side, on the back of the house, you know, at the back of the yard or some of that. And so anyway, we just were looking at, you know, making some changes to that. As well as making sure we have guidelines in place, for example, the garage can only be so large. The front, if you're putting in front of, in a front entry garage, it can only,
Can't be a 3-car garage.
right,
Yeah.
3-car
Three-car
garage and takes up,
12
you know, 2/3 of the facade of the house. And then if it's one that projects away from the house, it has to be a design feature that works into the design of the house so that we don't end up with these instances where, you know, you got a street full of garages, you know, so. Anyway, that's been, there's more conversation. We had a pretty robust conversation in the HPC, the Home Preservation Commission, because it was like, we're gonna destroy the character of the city and we're gonna, and I'm like, well, no, we just need to just have a little more flexibility in what we allow or what's possible because it's not a monolith. We've got like different types of neighborhoods all over the city. And so, but the other conversation then is also around the electrical vehicle code changes in terms of charging stations, what can be allowed, what can be allowed in a home, what can, you know, what are the safety parameters around doing that. So those are just some subjects that right now are being discussed. That, I mean, there's opportunities. Both of those are being presented. I think it's at the two opportunities for you know, engagement in the conversation, asking what those commissions' opinions are as to the home preservation, the ARB, the Architectural Review Board, the what's the group that reviews if you are asking for variances? Drawing a blank, can't think of it.
Planning commission or the planning commission?
The planning commission is one of them, and then the other one is so it's planning commission, ARB, the home preservation, and then I can't think of the name of that other one.
Zoning?
They're not zoning, but they are the group that reviews for variances if you're asking for variances to the code. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but. And again, they're just asking for input and anybody is welcome to make input or provide your comments or what you think. And so it probably won't be until like November or, you know, November-ish before we even voting on it. But, you know, we're just presenting the information and, you know, asking anybody's share.
Could I circle back to what you said at first and ask, what all is in the master plan that you're gonna be approving in the next couple of weeks, you said?
On the comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan,
Comprehensive.
is it the Prop W?
Well, no, the comprehensive plan was the comprehensive plan is basically the city's guide to what, you know, the city wants to see in terms of its existence, its growth, and its what have you.
Okay.
So
So like strategic plan,
yeah, it's like,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
sort of like that. It's like, for example, there had not been an update to the city's comprehensive plan since 1978.
okay.
And so basically what that is saying is that, okay, these are the things that we want to focus on as a city. So we looked at what we wanted to do in terms of residential, the house. What do we want to do there? What do we want to do? I think we talked about design features. We talked about things around affordability. We talked about what do we want to do in terms of growth of this. So we looked at the different business districts that we have. And then there were ones that we talked about. These are what we consider opportunity areas. For example, 3 that were cited for that was, of course, the area where we were looking at the Douglas Hill, right there on Pacific, We were looking at that area there. We are, you know, what's an opportunity to be there? We were looking at right there at Watson Road and Elm, right there on the corner there.
Mhm.
You know, what can we do? There's an opportunity to do something there and as well as on Yorkshire. Down there. So basically, what can we do that can help generate some revenue
Tax base.
for the city, take some of the burden off taxpayers, but make sure that we put a plan together that fits into what we know the city wants to see. We know why Douglas Hill failed. Douglas, whatever that usually was, because they wanted to come in here and put 7, 8-story buildings, you know, in there, and there were traffic concerns and all of that, whereas we believe that what would be acceptable is if we have to have some more head count and residency, but we're landlocked, so we're limited to what we can do. So if we're looking at developments that perhaps have commercial on the front and there's 3 or 4 stories above it, you know, that are apartments or condos or what have you, where you get to some more density and population that way without, you know, going overboard with something that we know we will likely not get approved. So again, we have a challenge of getting developers in to even consider it, because they're like, Webster won't approve anything, so why are you gonna? Well, no, what we have to do was put together clear instructions on what it is we would like to see. And then, you know, they provide plans for that. So that's in the comprehensive
Gotcha.
plan. It's like, this is how we would like to grow, and this is some of the ways that we see of getting there. And so the comprehensive plan is, it's
That's-
basically like a roadmap. This is who we are. This is what we like to see, you know, it's like the citizens have said, we don't want box stores, we don't want a lot of chains, but we do need other forms of revenue.
Got it. You had me at 1978.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No.
No, I mean, it's well needed. Yeah.
To highlight that, our park master plan will probably be coming soon too. The last one was
Okay.
1992.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
So that'll be,
We're not asking who wasn't born yet in 92. Yeah.
So keep your ears open.
Yeah.
All of the stuff tends to be posted on the website. So the updates as well as the agendas for the meetings to see what's being presented. We have.
Perfect, thanks. All right, Director Boyd, anything else from you?
I don't have a whole lot. I do just want to highlight something very briefly. Our public input sessions, we just had our first one for Ivy Crockett. Our next one for the Shady Creek Greenway project will be October 16th. So check our social media. That'll be out. I'm happy to send something out to you guys as well. And then we'll have another one for Ivy Crockett forthcoming, but if you can attend those, great, or help spread the word.
Will that be a topic for the next meeting? Great River Greenway and Shady Creek?
Yeah, I'll throw that on the agenda.
Can I ask what's the latest on the amphitheater?
That's actually going to be our October 29th will be our first public input for that.
Okay, because I had heard previous version that it was going to be June, July, and August, but that got pushed back.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a lot of stuff.
I just want to make sure I hadn't missed it.
October 29th will be our first one for that, 5 to 7 here, and that'll be for the skate park and the amphitheater.
Okay. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jason.
The amphitheater plan, the proposal is to put it on the ball fields area. Okay. Are there any alternatives to that?
That'll be discussed at the public input. I mean, people can
Okay.
share where they think it would go or could go, or
And would that include
that's just our
making
recommendation,
additional parking, like in the areas
possibly.
by the, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
There'll be a lot that goes into that one. And briefly too, I want to give a quick update on the ice arena. I'll be brief, but there's a whole lot that goes into it. So we're supposed to be opening tomorrow. We're not. We had a meeting on Monday with SM Wilson, Murphy Construction, and B32. So they had, I don't know if we posted on Facebook. So the pictures, I got a picture sent to me last Thursday. I was attending the National Rec Park Association conference out in Florida. And I got a picture text to me with the first layer of water down that was frozen with a complete unfrozen strip 200 feet all the way down the middle. So underneath that, there's, a mile of piping. It's filled with glycol. There's a link that has two pipes that's 4 inches wide, 4 or 5 inches wide, that wasn't freezing. So on Monday, we decided to, it started to freeze and then kind of cap together, which as more layers of ice that you put on it, I feel like I just, lack of better terms, put the Band-Aid on it. And, it's a $3 million project. We don't want to have, when you paint it, you're gonna have a strip down the middle, and then potentially if the air pockets don't get out of it, you're gonna have to come back, chip down, take it out, and then close in January for 8 weeks. I just don't think that's would be a good practice. And kind of the way we decided is to do it right now while we're closed. And nobody has the right answer. So we met this morning, so we decided to take the ice off, and there wasn't, there's like one layer. We put hot water on it, warmed up the slab as quick as we could, opened the doors, and this is when we wish it was 100 degrees out, because obviously the warmer it is, the quicker air will move out of the pipes. We're monitoring all that. We had a meeting this morning. It was determined that today we fired on all compressors. They're operating 100%. We're going to bring the slab back down to between 16 and 18 degrees. Start putting water on it. Hopefully first thing Friday morning, which we should by Friday for sure. And then we'll hope that freezes. And if it does not, then we'll have a meeting Friday afternoon with everyone and go our next course of action, which would be start chipping away and finding if there's blockage or anything like that, which will go along even further. One encouraging thing, it's very stressful, but it's no one's fault. There's nothing to do. B32, the engineers, one of the engineers and architects said this is the rarest thing they've seen. This never happens.
Lucky us.
Yeah, it's well, thank you. I don't know. But
that happened after the $3 million fix?
No, that the whole total project is $3 million. So it's the whole thing that was a little over actually, but it's if you open and it's right down the middle, it's not quality playable ice.
Did you see the picture?
And if it
Basically, it doesn't, the ice doesn't work in the whole middle. There's a section, there's no ice.
From net to net, should be a strip right down the ice that's not.
Holy.
and to kind of give
It's a problem.
have you seen
I don't friends that play.
Wow.
Get it fixed.
to kind of
Fix it before.
I thought
goes
that's what they just fixed though.
Just have it.
Crack.
Thing.
then that's all
They
the piping
put
that's
the
under,
concrete.
and that's
back
a small scale.
Oh,
Something screwed up in it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to troubleshoot that.
Wow.
Good luck.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things to better serve our residents and our stakeholders. If to open up to say well, we hope everything goes well, and then in 2 months,
You have a river down the middle.
or we realize, the ice starts to soften. Well, it's a major safety issue if you're skating across that. And for hockey, pucks are going to slow down when they hit it because it's not as hard. There's just so many, there's just so many different variables to it. And it's we want to roll out the red carpet and not have to be open because you just never know. In January, they shut down for 8 weeks, and also Kirkwood is doing an ice rink next March. So we're going to get a lot of their players for being good neighbors. And they work with us. We don't want to be shut down where they're shut down because that'd be so impactful to the hockey community, the figure skaters. So it's been a fun week.
Well, the contract with the builder who's doing it though is to do it correctly, right? I mean, it's the cost overages aren't gonna be on us.
No, yeah, and typical. Anytime you build a rink, and I never built a rink, so this is my first strike, blah, blah, people haven't, you're gonna have air throughout the entire year. So it's in their specs that you pump air and you cycle air out of the pipes. However, it's not in one central spot in the whole entire rink. That's rare. The only good news is that if it is air, the two ends of the rink where that link is freezing or was freezing, and one section in the middle, which is positive. That means it's not a total blockage, but you can still have partial blockage. So So keep your fingers crossed until Friday and yeah, we just hope everything goes well. But our number one priority is doing what's right and rolling out what we can to our residents, to our stakeholders and to everyone in the best manner that we can. So. Been some tough decisions.
Are we a little behind budget than overall for Prop W of where we thought we were gonna be?
I think we're right on track. The comprehensive plan, we're talking more parks is mentioned in there a lot. Currently I'm going through and reading, studying just to, cause it's a lot, but it's more, it's a roadmap. You hit that nail on the head on that one. Cause it's, like specifically for like programming or for parks, like to have a walkable park in this amount of distance to every area in Webster, which we do, or to have programming and have a diverse group of programming and offer certain segments for everyone to be involved in. It's kind of like that, which it's a great thing to have. But yeah, Prop W doing good. I need to update some of the scheduling on it. Stuff coming out, but we have a lot of projects in Prop W that are going to be happening in FY26. So I'm in the thick of it, getting everything out and trying to get it done.
James, can you share like the spreadsheet? I mean, I think a couple of years ago or when I was starting, there was all the projects, water park and the rink and everything,
Yeah.
just where we.
And that's one thing I need to update because that hasn't been updated in a while. So I need to go in and get access to that and go in and update it just with different dates. Cause like the skate park, I think we had advertised whenever that was released, not making the state up August 1, but construction would start. Well, that's not gonna happen. And a lot of it is things happen in construction projects, the water park got pushed back, like unforeseen circumstances happen. The rink, so hoping we're getting those out of our system because I still have a lot of projects. So I'm hoping we're getting all that out of our system at the beginning and everything will be smooth sailing. Oh, but yeah, I'll get that done and I can send that out to you guys for sure.
Yeah, and I'd definitely love to hear info on the October 29th thing. I'll be looking for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be great.
Can I just look back and just ask a question? Do you guys have any reaction or any thought of process around the whole front entry garage conversation?
Just, I mean, just common sense. It's just, why I would make regulations that make sense so that people aren't having to jump through hoops.
Right.
But yeah, I protect our neighborhoods. But yeah, I don't know any specific comments.
Yeah,
That's a hard one.
I don't think our codes would allow for houses in historic districts to change that much. anyway.
Exactly.
So to me, it doesn't matter.
A lot of the new builds in
If my
South
brother
Webster and stuff,
was
they're
buying
putting in some side entry stuff, and I guess they're being forced to. Now, I don't want all the new builds to have double facing front garage and then a doorway tucked around the side.
Right.
But, are them all being forced to be side entry doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, so.
But just because I don't like that design doesn't mean it's not right for somebody to have. if they
And lot sizes are
buy their
different.
lots for whatever price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my comments are just personal, so I'm gonna keep them to
We got a lot of
myself.
confidence.
They are, that's the whole. point. No comment is valid.
Yeah, no, I think,
We've already, the neighbor behind us changed their house from a garage that is side to.
Can I make a meeting or a motion to adjourn before we get into
Yeah.
side conversations?
yeah,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned.